Japanese voice performance isn't bad. Oh no. Give him back. Oh no! No, you're not doing this. The Kiana voice gets me out of it. Oh my god. Oh! 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 Oh, those chords scare me. One thing I am gonna say though, badass, nice Kiana, but oh my god. Her Japanese voice is, I'm not faulting the VA or the performance, but I think the Chinese voice is so much better for building atmosphere, so I'll probably end up re-watching this. Ooh, you can't change this ugly world. Ooh. It lines up to Sirin's original beliefs as well, which makes this Herrscher so deadly. Ooh. You can't even... Ah! Ah! No! Oh, that sound! Oh, that makes me suffer. That was awful. Why do that to me? I'm fragile. Bronya can't win a fight and Fu Hua just gets punished anytime she appears. This sucks. Shattered Samsara is just like, yeah, you know what? We'll give you a happy ending for Fu Hua to snap her bones like bloody twigs later. Oh, Kiana. Oh. Oh, Himeko. That last moment where we got to say goodbye to her just stung. Ooh, the song. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Sirin's come so far. Oh my god. Same line. That song. Sorry, bit quiet now, but ooh. She shouldn't realistically be able to dodge those, but it's a video game, we ignore it. We let it be. Ooh! Oh, Bronya! You legend! Wait, for a reason. She really is gonna use it. And that's the same eye that Joachim has. The thing that's weird is Bronya doesn't seem to have her eye appear like that in the same colour. Meanwhile, Joachim's does. It turns red when he uses his Herrscher abilities. Oh. Oh. Oh, I cannot wait to hear this song on its own. Okay. Ooh. Alright. Oh, Fu Hua. Fu Hua's voice is another one that bothers me in the Japanese because it's too deep. Deep doesn't portray maturity. Ooh. Wait, Chorus sentient? Oh, that eye! Wait, has she actually got these cores now then? Or is she just accessing them? Oh, fuck him up! Do it! The song, forgive me, I'm sorry. I keep losing my train of thought. Ooh, the world's always been ugly, has it? Oh. Kiana's growth is just a legendary thing. This entire chapter has been so phenomenal for her. Oh. Wait, the song, I Will Never Go. Nightglow! Fu Hua! I I hear tomorrow, but I don't know what the rest of that said. I am reading, by the way, and I do actually understand some Japanese. So I actually do understand it when I've got the Japanese. Oh! Oh! Fuck him up! No! Oh, atta girl. Oh my god. You two better be okay. I swear, if you're not, I'm right. No. Oh. Oh, so cute. Oh, that little. Oh. Oh. Wait. Her hair's just. Is she gonna be bald with this or something? I'm joking, that's a terrible joke. But her hair literally just set on fire, didn't it? It turned into fire. Oh. That was nice. That was nice. Alright. I'm probably going to have to watch that again though with the Chinese dub. Oh, that was so good. Props to the Japanese voice for the puppets though. Voices, I'd assume, but the performance of the puppet was fantastic. Kiana's it's just because it's so high-pitched in the moment. It's a personal thing. I'm not faulting the voice actor at all. I think that the moment was still phenomenal. But I have a feeling I'd like it more in Chinese. Oh! Nice. Go for it. I'm debating on if I should call her Kiana or Sirin, because it's technically both. I was bang on the mark, too. Hell yeah. Oh, like, listen to that. Listen to that difference in the maturity, because I feel like the deeper voice, when it's too high-pitched, it takes away and it projects the childish aspect to Kiana's personality, which definitely did exist. And I feel like before, she was more like that cocky side of Sirin, who was gloating about how she'd win during Second Eruption. She was very childlike. Meanwhile, now, I feel like the deep voice shows how far she's come. And that's why I prefer the Chinese dub for Kiana. Because it shows her progression and maturity. Meanwhile, for Fu Hua, I feel like it presents her more like an old person rather than someone who's just experienced. It makes her come across a lot. I know that she's incredibly old. So it's not that she comes across older than she actually is, because if we were going to voice her the age she actually is, then she'd be in a fucking crypt and there would be no voice. But that's not the point. The idea is she still is young in her mental state, or at least her physical maturity, versus mentally how old she is, or how she actually has evaluated herself as. She still pushes herself to cause for action. Meanwhile, if she was actually elderly in the way that we think it is, then she'd want rest.
输了。对，
Okay.
我们输了。
The Chinese performance of the puppets is good as well. This is a thing. The voice performances are good across the board. I just don't personally... I think the best Japanese voice performance is Mei's, in my opinion. But her Chinese voice isn't... Like, I think the Japanese voice for Mei is the best performance of Mei. But I still really like the Chinese one as well. I think that it's just with some of the performances when it comes to the Japanese, it's very hit and miss for how we imagine them. And it's funny because I started with the Japanese dub first and then went to the Chinese and I was like, okay, this is a better performance for Kiana. If I'm going to be hearing Kiana for a while, I want to hear her like this.
是我们输给了什么呢？
The question is to what? That's the thing. When it comes to what the puppet lost to, it feels like they lost to something more genuine, an actual genuine connection. Though the thing I'm curious also on is that sword actually containing the proper cores? Does Kiana now have all of those cores, or is she just sampling the power through the imaginary tree?
输给了正义，输给了希望，还是说，单纯的输给了力量？
And it's weird because none of the cores are the core of domination, so eventually that core's gonna appear. Will she end up with it or no?
你不会明白的。
You wouldn't
但我们想
understand.
去明白 ，Kiana。
The puppet is showing consideration for changing the Herrscher ego anyway. And it's interesting because the position of the puppet now mirrors the little girl that Kiana saved, kneeling down, but instead of having a head pat and being reassured that everything will be alright, there's a sword right near its bloody head.
Kiana， 我们真羡慕你。
We envy
为
you.
什么你每次都能赢？
The thing is it the Herrscher ego itself, or is it all of the people that are being encompassed by the Herrscher ego that are envious? Because it makes sense either way, because the Herrscher ego really is isolated, aside from being exposed to the despair of all these
不管
people.
遇到什么阻碍，你都不会动摇。无论什么绝境，你都能以一己之力化险为夷。
One of those parts is inaccurate. No matter how hopeless the situation is, you manage to save the day on your own. No, she didn't do it alone. And if anything, when things seemed really hopeless for her, she was willing to kill herself to get out of it. It was Fu Hua that pushed her forward and stopped that. Even though Fu Hua in that moment was a traitor who caused the Herrscher of Void to go out of control. So it's a weird one because she only got this far because of other people. Otherwise, she'd be
我从来都不是一个人。
Oh, Kiana.
可我们也不是一个人，我们明明有1000个同伴。将你们联系起来的，不是理想，不是理解，更不是彼此信任的心。
This comment alone, this is proof of how far Kiana came. Because realistically, you can gather together as a group for any reason at all, but will that united front be strong if there isn't a genuine reason to connect them? No. Meanwhile, if you actually have that reason, then everyone's going to want to do their part and push forward. They'll want the group as an entirety to succeed because it leads to that same shared goal.
你们只是为了共同的目的聚集在一起，宣泄同一种极化的情绪。
So you try to vent it as a whole. I'd say that's still a reason that would get enough strength out of people. It's like, it's not as long lasting as if you have a genuine goal, but I feel like collectively as a group, you could come together for that reason and still succeed. It just wouldn't be succeeding for a good reason. So I don't know about that comment, but that's only because of my personal confliction with the message. I think that her idea is definitely on point, that a shared goal that is genuine is more likely to land to success. But I feel like you don't technically need that to actually succeed. That's why horrible things happen from groups, because they still have the ability to make it happen.
不叫同伴。
You don't call that companions. I'd say, I don't know if that's written correctly. I'd say you wouldn't call that, or you don't call that companionship, not companions.
原来如此。
It's interesting the puppet's trying to understand, though, in these last moments.
可是 Kiana， 我就再问一句：凭着你们所谓的相信、所谓的同伴、所谓的守护，真的能战胜崩坏吗？
That is a very good question. Can you really defeat Honkai with your so-called belief, friendship, and hope? That's a mucky one too, because I don't think those things will be what results in Honkai losing, quote-unquote Honkai losing, since we know that Honkai comes from the imaginary tree. Whatever the imaginary tree is as a true entity, the concept of the imaginary tree. And if that's the case, it's borderline an immune system that's just eradicating humans because, hey, it wants to grow more and humans aren't encouraging its growth. And it snatches the things that it think will help it grow. That's why people seem to become Herrschers. It's for the sake of growth. And that's if Oto is right. And there's other characters who have come to very close beliefs of what reality could be, like Sue in Second Key. It's shown that he ascended beyond human by the end of his lifespan because of the way he viewed things. Meanwhile, Dr. May, she's been reborn potentially as our May. And do those memories still linger? Like, it's the Korra Conquest that had involvement with... It's likely the Korra Conquest that actually caused her Honkai infection and killed her. Because it's Honkai infection that killed her. And she only got it from using Hollow Armor, which had use of the Korra Conquest in it, use of the Korra Desire, and use of the Korra Haste.
我们或许是失败了。
And
可
Korra
接下来的
Void, I'm
敌
pretty
人
sure as well.
远比我们更矛盾、更强大。到那个时候，
Yes, but you may face
你
enemies.
还能凭着这些虚无缥缈的东西与之抗衡吗？
The puppet isn't wrong. We could face far more powerful enemies, and I don't think it's make-believe, but I do think that we're going to have some harder battles ahead. And there's the chance that even Fu Hua or Herrscher of Sentience mentioned that Theresa has the potential to become a Herrscher, which is really gonna sting if that happens. And the most likely candidate for what Herrscher she could end up is Corruption or Binding. And I'd think Corruption because in one of the manga she's already been affected by the Korra Corruption. And if that happens, what would the Herrscher ego think or believe? It's like, she lost Cecilia, and she still is in pain over Cecilia's lost. Hell, she has a song dedicated to the idea that Cecilia died. Not in love with her, but loves her like family, and that was taken from her. And then her niece, the real Kiana's likely dead, because it seems like the real Kiana wanted Sirin saved, and that's the reason why she's no longer here. Because they prioritize Sirin's saving rather than the actual Kiana's. And then Cecilia herself, and then, no, Sirin herself, she's kind of screwed. Because long term, when it comes to this, will there be a happy ending waiting for her? Like the original Honkai Gaku, and I'm pretty sure the ending of that is Sirin restarted everything. She became Herrscher of the... Well, Kiana restarted everything. She became Herrscher of the End, and it resulted in the world being reset. I could see that, because it'd make the sort of world where everything beautiful is safe in the end. It'd follow through with what Kiana hopes for, and it'd potentially fix all of the broken hearts of the people she knows. Because imagine if all those people came back. The tree stores information. It also sheds it off into the void. What if they return? But anyway, that's a
我不会放
tangent.
弃。
Let's continue. I won't give up. Oh,
而且
atta girl.
这绝不是什么虚无缥缈的东西，
Ha! Don't talk shit about my ideas.
这是人
They're
之所以
real.
为人的证明。
That's what makes humankind who they are. I don't know about that, but that's because people have done some shitty things. But I will stand by the idea. It's a very hopeful view of humanity, and it shows how far she's come. Because, you know, the original Sirin would have never thought like this. The only thing that made her reconsider was the idea that Cecilia genuinely loved her. And that's what led to Kiana's inception at all, which is amazing, and I'm so glad I was right.
Kiana，说实话，我都快被你给说动了。
God damn it, puppet.
真羡慕你们啊！你说的对，我们不过是崩坏的傀儡，将我们联系起来的，只是那些讨人厌的丝线。
I shouldn't talk while the characters talk. It's just I don't know when the lines
奇怪。
finish because I don't know the language.
我到底是这哪边的？是因为我快死了，才在想这些奇奇怪怪的东西吗？
It's interesting because this question, realistically, if Honkai cared about like the views of its like of the people that it manifests in, then they wouldn't be able to think this way at all, and they wouldn't care to either. Herrscher of Sentience didn't have a set mindset. Neither did even with Anna, who became Herrscher of Ice, she didn't seem to be malicious at all. She didn't have a set evil mindset or anything. Hell, Herrscher of Void is only like that because of Sirin. Honkai itself isn't manifesting people to be evil to seek out the murder of mankind. It doesn't seem to care that much. Hell, Herrscher of Thunder Ego didn't give a shit. It didn't care. It was fine with disappearing and May taking its place as the Herrscher. So, does Honkai really care personally for what the people it takes in believe about it or about the world? Anything. It's just bringing these egos about to make sure it has some control and is letting them come to their own conclusions. And whether it's because it wants humanity to hate, like, to be hated by the things it's, like, involving in the hive mind or not, is another story. Because, realistically, the reason a lot of these people hate mankind is because mankind does have really shitty aspects that are worth being hated. No?
可是人的恶意并不会消失，伊安娜。
The puppet's right. Malice in human hearts won't disappear. It'll always be there, unfortunately, and we can't change that.
你很快就会明白了。不，
You'll understand.
你一直都明白。
Yeah. She has always known. And the thing is, if she fucks up even remotely, most of AE, aside from, like, its big members, will turn on her. So will most of the world. It's why I can see her becoming the Herrscher of the End, just like with the original game. Though, oh god, the name is escaping me right now. Honkai, post-Honkai Apocalypse. It presents a potentially different ending where Kiana seals herself and Honkai on the moon. But the thing is, that wouldn't... It'd potentially stop most of the issues involving Honkai, but it'd still leave a very damaged world. And on top of that, there's no chance it'd stop the world from being eradicated anyway, because it's not just Honkai that's the issue. The imaginary tree is where these issues are stemming from.
留给你的考验还很多呢。
There's still lots of tests waiting for you. Ugh. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Alright.
他来了。
Who's he? I just read that properly. Who is he? What? Wait, Because Sue heard a voice in second key at the very end. He was communicating with someone. And the idea of Honkai Gestalt, it's like Sirin communicated with the Gestalt, though it didn't seem to be male or female, it just took the form of whoever it spoke to. And it seemed to be more like a stigmata left by Honkai Gestalt, or the Herrscher of the End. So it makes me wonder, who is this entity? Is it actually Honkai Gestalt, or is it the core of potentially the imaginary tree?
金色的线已经缠到我身上了。
Alright. The last puppet in the theatre where the curtains had fallen. Oh. Kiana swung her sword. There's your execution. Ooh, that's a big question. Alright. A few weeks later. Oh! No! Oh no. Surrounded by flowers. Oh no. Why is the dialogue filling in so slow? Oh no. Why do this to me? You've already, like, really hurt me. by making it so we had that time within, like, the calls with Himeko, and now you're doing this shit to me? Sorry, I moved the microphone then.
今天我们在这里
fuck.
纪念一位共同的朋友，一位永远的
That's
英雄。
Theresa, isn't it? Why is the dialogue so slow compared to the voice lines? The voice is already done, but the dialogue's still going. That's poor in my opinion. They should increase the speed of that. We are gathered here today in memory of our mutual friend and a perpetual heroine. Oh. Yeah, alright. So they actually are doing a funeral. Oh. No. Theresa gazed solemnly at those who were present from the front. On the marble platform behind her rested a broken great sword. Ugh. Fuck you.
我不会陈述他的生平，也不会列举他的贡献，因为这些大家都有目共睹。
I will not retell her life story or enumerate her accomplishments. Oh, it's adding more. Oh, that already hurts me just by reading it in my head, because we already know them by heart. Oh, oh, Himeko.
我只想向大家分享一段和他共同度过的时光。
I only want to share the moments I spent with her. Oh, this is.
我刚认识他的时候，他还是女武神冲锋队的一名普通队员。
I don't want to risk pressing the screen at all to rush the text. Why did I say text so stupidly? When I first met her, she was a foot soldier in the Valkyries.
那时的她眼里满是青涩，就像曾经的我们一样。
She had childish eyes like we once.
但在一次任务之后，那眼神变了。
But her eyes changed after.
那时的她，面前还有很多条路可走。
Back then, she had so many options. Yeah, here's the thing. The manga's revealed that she was well, in general, she was a university student and her father was a professor in Chickasaw before he died. And that fucked up everything, it seems, which is awful. And then Sirin killed the squad and barely escaped the mission she could have died in, which we found out in this chapter. It's fucked up because the person responsible for the death of her captain, who she followed the words of and took hope from, is also the person responsible for her death as well, unintentionally, because by chance they ended up, despite she escaped her death that day, she ended up coming face to face with Sirin again. And obviously that's not Sirin/Kiana's fault anyway. The situation was very iffy. It was... And if anything, that's Schicksal's fault as well. The only reason Sirin ended up this way at all is because of Schicksal.
我只不过是为他多提供了一条。我向他寄出了圣弗雷亚学园的邀请函。
I only offered another option. Listen, cadet, please, no. I offered her a post at St. Freya.
可我没过多久就有些后悔了。
Oh, reading that. But I soon regretted my decision.
身为一名教师，他有时上课迟到，有时夜不归宿，有时宿醉不醒。
I'm already reading and I can't help but smile. I can't wait to read this one aloud, alright. As a teacher, she would often be late for class, stay out all night, or have a hangover. The thing is, one of the mangas shows that she crawled into Kiana's bed naked and hugged her, like, unintentionally in her sleep. What a teacher. But, at the same time, what a bloody teacher. Because at the end of the day, she was the one who came when it counted. And fucking amazing for
我
doing
没收了
that.
他一堆东西，堆满了整整一间储藏室。
The next line. I confiscated so many things from her that they packed an entire storeroom. Once this funeral's over, everyone needs to go in that storeroom and see the things confiscated, because it can't all be booze. There's gotta be some interesting shit that was
尽
confiscated.
管学生们都很喜欢他，我却默默叹气。没有人比他更不像一个老师了。
Although the students liked her, she still gave me a headache. She surely wasn't a model teacher. Hey! Maybe not, but she is the best teacher. And there's some ellipses, alright. Theresa closed her eyes and the memories of those days. I'm gonna press the screen.
但就是这样一位老师，拯救了自己的学生。
Sweet. Okay. But it was a teacher like her that saved her students. Damn right. Damn right.
就是这样一位老师，教会了我们同伴的意义、战斗的意义、
It was a teacher like that.
理想的意义。
It was a teacher like her that taught us the meaning of comradeship, fighting, and hope. Yes. This is the best send-off we can give Himeko, and I'm so glad that they stuck to their guns, because before this, people were hoping that Himeko would come back. Somehow we'd face the Herrscher of Fire and it'd be her body. No, this is way more meaningful. And we knew she was dead for ages, so I'm sorry to all the people who had their hopes up, but we saw her die and there was no way she could have escaped. The only reason that the characters didn't know is because Sirin/Kiana was in pain and not focusing on her. She was dealing with the repercussions of having the serum installed in the back of her neck. We saw her freaking out in the end of final lesson. Meanwhile, the others had no way of knowing if it was possible or not to survive in that environment. And then this chapter just revealed, hey, not a chance in hell. She was fucked. And Kiana's been in active denial ever since, because she'd have to accept that she killed one of the people she admired, well, the person she admires the most. Which, how would you come to terms with that? You wouldn't. It'd be way too painful.
也教会了我们
Alright.
美好的意义。
She showed us all the beautiful things in the world. Oh! And then we have Kiana, the song in the background, then just like saying, may all the beauty be blessed is something I heard. But, oh my god, the lines to that song rung back to previous themes, and that fucking stings like hell. I cannot wait to listen to the song on its own. But, oh, damn.
没有比他更好的老师了。
Oh, no teacher was and never will be better than her. Damn right. Don't make me cry. Theresa turned to face the marble platform. Oh! We see that get taken. We actually, in the event for Himeko's birthday, we
这是
see
一瓶
her
好酒。
starting teaching.
我收走它的时候，
Oh my
你
god.
难过了好久。
I hate the fact it automatically started playing that. Don't do that, game. Okay, we see that bottle get taken in the birthday event because we see her starting off at the school, and the moment she did, she had a bottle of wine. So, Oh, Himeko, this is a bottle of fine wine. You were very upset when I confiscated it. If that's the same bottle, that means that Theresa kept it for
现在，它该物归原主了。
It is time I returned it to its rightful owner. Ah! Yeah, pour on that sword. Get it hammered. I don't care. Theresa walked aside. Oh. The confession of the breezes lowered the tendered blades of grass. Oh, I see Kiana written. Alright, Kiana walked up and gazed at the broken greatsword. It once brushed past her. The crackling was still ringing in her ears. Yeah, it did. Oh, final lesson. Oh. Silence. She tightened her grasp on the vessel. What vessel? She got
我曾因迷茫犯下错误，曾因恐惧迷失自我。
Once doubt made me make mistakes and fear made me
在黑暗
lose
中，
myself.
是你为我点燃了天空，在最寂静的夜里，为我照亮了前行的路。
It was you who lit up my world and showed me the way in the quietest of
你
nights.
告诉了我如何前进。
You told me how to carry
季子老师，
on.
你留下的天空
Oh!
依旧清澈，
She kept it.
我们会沿着你开辟的道路继续向前。
Alright, I'm tearing up a bit. That. Oh. Fuck you, game. This is abuse. Oh. Why? Why do this to me? Oh. Miss Himeko, the sky you left is as clear as ever. We will firmly follow the path you opened. Oh, fuck you. Oh. Alright, thanks. What do I even say to that? She kept it all this time. Oh. Wait. Breezes have stopped praying. Silence settled over. They walked up one by one to place their memories on the marble. We're not gonna get any voices from Fu Hua or Bronya? Where the hell are they? They better be fine. I'd assume they have to be recovering or recovered by now. And what's the photo of? I want to see that photo for him. I want to see what it's actually of. We see all the flowers too. Oh. They were consumed by times that have gone and seldom spoke for the rest of the morning. The sparse clouds disappeared unknowingly. The sky remained a clear blue until it was engulfed by starlight. Oh. Kiana did not dream that night. Oh. Alright. That hurt. That really fucking hurt, if anything. Oh. Really? You do that to me? Oh, me. Oh. Me looked up. Stop it! No! By the way, I only opened these to skip them because I wanted to have them all available without getting, like, any sort of notifications for doing stuff. That's the only reason that they're all immediately accessible. I haven't actually read them properly, so, yeah. The stars were unusually bright that night, adorning the sky like frozen tears. Ugh. Yeah. Certain that she was alone, she approached the broken greatsword. At least she came. Aww. She had to do it, like, away from the others. Oh. The marble stood in a bed of flowers that represented memories. May bowed lightly and walked to the
对不起，
platform.
姬子老师，
I'm sorry, Miss Himeko.
抱歉，
Oh.
在这种时候独自来见你。
I'm sorry to come to you by myself at a time like this. Hey, it's good that you're going at all. May stood silently for a moment as if weighing her words. She had many things to say, but felt that doing so would deprive them of their meaning. Yeah, silence is good enough, honestly. The fact she's there says everything. She waited until night to go to avoid any sort of confrontation with the others, despite she helped them and did rush to their aid.
您的教诲我一直铭记于心，这也使得我的选择更为坚定。
I've honored your teachings. They enabled me to stay true to my choices. Oh. And the thing is, Himeko was good to her as well. And that's more kind of revealed in the mangas than it is in the game itself. May's been through a shit ton.
您告诉过我，该如何守护一个人，该如何贯彻自己的人生。
You told me how to protect another and follow.
而我也那么做了。
And I did exactly that. Oh. All of them carry something from her. Good. May took a deep breath. There were things she didn't want to say.
比起言语，还是以行动向您证明会更好吧。
But actions speak louder than words. Yeah, they do. She placed a bouquet on the marble. Oh, those flowers. Those are Cecilia's as well. Ooh. Oh, that's nice.
谢谢你，姬子老师。
Thank you, Miss Himeko. That's how we all feel, May. That's how every single person who is looking probably at this chapter feels.
能够成为您的学生，是我的荣幸。
Oh, it's an honor to be your student. Yeah. I don't want them to ever release a proper unit of Himeko again, but an SP unit? Please? Give us something to immortalize this woman. And hell, make it so I can use her in sync with Kiana. I am all for that. I want Herrscher of Flamescion to have her favourite person running with her. Hell yes. She bowed one last time. Her farewell shook the night air and the marble. She then faded into the starry night. Alright. Oh, it's a Kevin! A wild Kevin appeared after doing nothing during this. Am I meant to believe that he couldn't have just sorted the Herrscher domination? I refuse to believe he couldn't. He could have fucking fixed that shit in no time. I refuse to believe he couldn't.
有什么事？
Alright, what is it? Seeing that May has come to him, the man sitting on a stone bench broke the silence. I wonder how he feels when he's in contact with May, since it's very, very, very likely she is the reborn version of the woman he was in love with, who actually loved him back as well. The manga proves this. The manga outright proves that she loved him back. She made a child for them, and even wished that he would have hope for the future. We see a cutscene of them in the game. Dr. May was in love with Kevin, and our May is in a really weird, precarious position when it comes to this guy. Meanwhile, this guy is seeing the woman he loves every time he looks at her, potentially. Whether he emotionally feels that way is another story, but resemblance-wise, exactly the same. She appears to have changed greatly since they last met. He knew she would come to him. Did you now?
支配之律者被消灭了。
Herrscher of Dominance was exterminated.
我知道。
She said.
他的核心消失了，下落不明。
Its core went missing. Huh? How? Did someone else get it, or has it disappeared? Because that's weird. This is the first time that's... Is this the first time that's happened? I don't remember ever seeing in the lore that happening in any other instance with any of the other cores. Normally they're simulated by other Herrschers or end up becoming parts of other people or something along the lines of that. They don't just vanish, do they? Or they get used for divine keys. There's also that. But the fact that divine keys exist proves that they don't just vanish after. Hell, the old Herrscher of Domination's core, that is what Water's Edge is, as well as some of the other divine keys. Like, any key tied to that one is actually Core of Domination or a fragment of the Core of Domination mimicking other cores. Because the core that Water's Edge mimics is the Core of Desire, which is actually used in the Selene. It isn't actually used in Water's core at all. Well, Water's Edge at all.
但我今天不是为此而来。
But that isn't what I came for today. So what are you here for? Ooh, are we actually going to see news on Elysian's Realm? Because, yeah, I do keep up with the out-of-story lore. So I have seen updates on that. And she's an interesting-looking character. She's very pretty, I'll give it that. But also, I also saw a quote of her saying, "Who's more powerful, Kevin or me?" No offense, Elysia, but I can see Kevin breaking your neck and throwing you in a ditch. There is no way you're stronger than him. I refuse to believe it until I see it.
你想问什么？
What do you
当
want
我用
to
律者
know?
的力量与人偶对撞，我的意识被带向了一片难以名状的空间。
When my Herrscher powers clashed with the puppets, my consciousness was taken into an odd space.
那里应当是律者全能的根源之地。我感到有一个无边的意识笼罩着那里。
It ought to be the source of Herrscher power. I sensed an unbounded consciousness enveloping it. Huh. So it actually does have its own mind. So Honkai Gestalt as a concept is a real thing, and not just an idea that people came
那
up
意识似乎想把什么直接灌进我的脑内。
That consciousness tried to drill something into my head.
但这种尝试却被我体内超额溢出的电磁波阻挠了。
But its attempt was thwarted by the EM waves overflowing from my body. So she barely escaped being influenced by potentially the core of Honkai and potentially the core of the entire bloody imaginary tree.
凯文，
Huh.
这让我产生了困惑。
Kevin, this confuses me. Why is she calling him by name? I'm surprised she's not calling him Sire like the others do. She's actually directly referring to him by name. Or other characters seem to also call him Castellana. It's either Castellana or Sire. They don't call him by his name unless they're from the old world. Elysian Realm really makes me hope that May remembers or like comes to a realization of being the same person as Dr. May, and I really want to see the conversation and interaction between her and Kevin as a result of that. Because that is one of the best bonds we actually have in this game, and the most interesting ones. No offense to anyone who ships Kiana and May, I feel like Kiana's feelings before recently, like she hasn't shown any signs of having actual romantic feelings since these events towards May. She trusts her and states outright that it's her friend, and she trusts her judgment. It's not seemingly romantic at all, it's just before she was really immature and would push her feelings onto May. And May never seemed to really return them. The mangas are the only ones that really push that, but some of the mangas have been like retconned for certain information, which is really annoying. Because it makes you wonder what is outright the canon, what isn't, and bound to be retconned.
如果那个意识就是所谓崩坏的神明，
If that is supposedly...
他真的会仅仅因为这样的原因就无法影响自己的使徒吗？
Would it truly lose its control over its executant for this reason? That's a really good question. The man did not expect her to ask such a question. Since when had she perceived it to such an extent?
从上个世代战斗至今的你，前文明最后的英雄，不可能对此一无所知。
As the last hero of the previous era who fought till this day, you're bound to know something. May look Kevin in the eye.
你究竟还有多少秘密没有告诉这个世代的人类？
How many more secrets are you keeping from my generation? I'm intrigued. I want to know this. Hell yeah, give me. Silence. The man remained silent. He was
我需要一个回答。
I want an answer. She's making demands of this man.
就现在。
Now. Oh, all right. Will he take well to that? Oh.
没问题。
Silence, all right. Oh, all right. Of course. Hell yeah. He made a
现在的你
decision.
有那个资格。
You're now eligible. For what?
什么？
Make her a member of Moth. Make her a member of Moth. Do it. I wanna see. Alright. What? The man raised his hand to point in a direction. A lightless corridor meandering out of a corner of the sacrificial ground. At the beginning of that darkness lay the beginning of the world.
寻求答案的资格。
Eligible to seek the answer. Oh. May did not know how long she had walked. She was still surrounded by darkness. It seemed as if the corner stretched on and on until it reached another space. Pink text. That isn't purple, that's pink. Oh. She felt something in the boundless darkness.
凯文，凯文，
Oh, Elysia. Oh, Kevin.
你可真爱给人添麻烦的。
Aren't you a troublemaker? Yes, he is. I am looking forward to knowing you. And that's that. Nice. Alright. Just to show you guys something, I am very close to the crystal cap. I will be recording my rolls of the new girl because I'm at least going to get her. I'd like Herrscher of Flamecion's weapon too, but that's neither here nor there. Another thing actually, I should maybe show. I don't have anything actually prepped. I can use these temporarily. I missed out on one of them, I know, before anyone brings it up. These will temporarily be pieces that I'll be using for her, but I'm after. Let's have a look at something. I can't fully complete this only because I keep getting screwed over by the fact I don't have a good fire user. I have Vermilion Knight, but that's not good enough for this stage. Wrong one. No, don't fuck up, please. And after this, I'm a little short on resources for getting it though. I'll just have to farm a bit because I can get the ether fuel really quickly, if anything, by destroying other things because of my fully built Herrscher of Thunder. But Chapter 25 has been absolutely phenomenal, and thank you, Mihoyo, for giving us some really solid writing. I actually genuinely have really appreciated this. This chapter has been significant. But one thing I am also really looking forward to is Elyssian Realm. It's looking like it's going to be incredibly promising. Let's just get the daily affection points because I like having that on my Valkyries. Oh, that That stung so bloody hard. That stung so bloody hard. Oh. I'm like in actual pain over some of what happened. Oh. The snapping sound. Ah. Ah. But God, the song alone is phenomenal. I can't wait to hear it on its own, and I do aim on rewatching it in Japanese and in Chinese, and I'll make a decision on which one I prefer then. But I do think that the Chinese performances are better for Kiana and Fu Hua, so hearing them speak in Japanese, I don't dislike it, I just don't like it as much. Hopefully everyone can appreciate that. And hopefully you'll all stick with me when Herrscher of Flamescion comes out and I start rolling for it, because yeah, I wanna. That's not a debate, I just do. If I don't get a weapon, that's fine. What would be a good sub? Actually, I should look in the foundry, because that's gonna be the only place I'm gonna find potentially a substitute for her, because I'm not... If I don't get her weapon, that's fine, but I'd like it. What would be a good substitute for her? Not this. What do you do? Is lightning based? No. Automatic? No on that. Hyper railgun? No, that's what I just looked at. Huh. Lightning. No. I rarely look through guns, so you're just gonna see me meandering through them. Fafnir Flame. Generates 3 explosions to blow up nearby targets. Each explosion deals 80% of the attack of physical damage. And ignites enemies, dealing 30 damage each 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. So, there's that. What about you? 60% of the damage, 36% every 0.5 seconds for 1.5 seconds. Endless for each hit. Maybe. I'm just having a look, see. Not you. These are pretty, but no. Just automatically based on the element that appears. It's a no. Those are physical. They're very pretty though, but it's physical. So it'd either be Fafnir Flame or Jingwe's Wings, by the looks of it. Which isn't fantastic. The only really good weapons that'll probably work with her is her own guns, and that's painful for me. But it is what it is. As you can see, my progression is I can't beat the 5th floor because of the character I have for it. Like, this is the set I've been running, and yeah, Himeko's not strong enough. Because I haven't built her, because I got her through the event that's the same deal that gave me Herrscher of Void for free. So, there's that. Meanwhile, this, I'm stuck as well, because my Nyx isn't strong enough, but I can easily get through this because my Herrscher of Thunder is broken, and I haven't fully gotten through this yet, but I'm pretty sure I could easily beat it if I wanted to. So at some point today I'm gonna do my dailies, and that'll be that. But thank you all for experiencing this with me. They made me feel pain again. That snapping sound freaked me out. I'm looking forward to the story. Both Genshin and Honkai are signs of my faith in Mihoyo. Both of them are picking up. And Genshin will take longer to reach this stage, but Honkai is now on a consistently good writing field, and I love that. I'm thrilled with that. So yeah, thank you all for being a part of this, and hopefully see you again when I actually pull on the banner. I'll be doing single pulls based on the advice of someone who is more familiar than the game than me. Because the guarantees on character banners, apparently I'm more likely to save resources if I do it all as singles, which will take longer, and I will increase the speed of the pulls for that. And then if I get her, I'll obviously slow down the recording of that and be like, okay, yes, 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 yes. And then I'll do tenfolds for the weapon pulls if I have enough remaining stuff to try and get it. Because I do want the guns, if I can. Free-to-play gear, the thing is, when they upgrade the stigmatas that are available in the Foundry, they'll be adding the set that's capable to be used on her that makes the free-to-play version of Herrscher of Flamescion not too far behind the paid-to version with all of the stigmatas. So she is very free-to-play friendly aside from her weapon, because her weapon set is exclusive to Kiana, so, well, and Colleen or Callan, but who uses her anymore, no offense. She's fallen off quite significantly compared to other characters. But that is what it is. So, until next time, guys, thank you all, and take care.